Good morning and welcome back to Seven Shepherds Farm. Today we're going to move this flock of sheep. We actually joined up both of our flocks, so we had, if you've been following along, we've had a separate flock of 2-year-old ewes that had the winter lambs. Well, we went ahead and pulled all the ram lambs off of those last week, and we sold them on Saturday. And we turned the ewe lambs back out with their moms. But we went and joined up that group of 700 yearling now. They're right at a year old ewes that are having lambs. So we joined both of those groups up, and they are all in this paddock right here. So we have a few hundred little baby lambs on them, and then there's some, like I said, some of the ewe lambs that we had this winter. We left them on their moms, so they're in here yet. But we just joined everybody up one flock. It was getting to be a lot to check everything because both groups were having little lambs, and it just took all day basically to check both groups. So we just merged them back up, and it makes rotationally grazing easier because you're only moving one group. And we also have a longer rest period now because we also have one flock. So for all those reasons, we joined everybody back up. And we're just going to move them through this little gate here. We got them behind this 2-strand electric high tensile fence. It's not much really. It's not very high. It's not even knee high actually. That ram, he could jump over it, but he's not going to, hopefully. So we haven't had any get out yet since they've been in here. So they've been in this paddock for 3 days now. And then we're just going to kind of rotate them around this side of the farm, giving everything else a rest, and hopefully we'll be able to give everything like a 60-day rest is what we're kind of shooting for, 45 to 60-day rest periods on this grass. So we're still definitely in the thick of lambing, so it's really difficult to tell how many lambs we're having at one time, or each day. I'm thinking it's probably between 30 and 40 lambs a day right now. I mean, every time we check them 3 times a day. And every time we come out here, there's probably 5 ewes having a lamb, like right then. So, and they're obviously doing that all day long. So, there's a lot of lambs dropping. So, we're pretty happy with, actually, we're really happy with the way, especially the 700, this is their first lamb. We're really happy with the way they're doing. We've had minimal Indian lambs. So, we took in 5 baby lambs so far out of this whole group. That we're bottle feeding right now. I'm sure there's a few that were lost out there that we didn't find, but not very many. For how many yearling ewes we have out here, the 700 that are giving birth for the first time, I'm really happy with how good they're doing. They're claiming their lambs, they're taking them with them, we're moving them every couple days, so but they're doing really well so far. So hopefully we can keep that streak going, and we're gonna try it again today. So we're just gonna open the gate, kind of call them through a little bit, and we're not gonna get 100% of them through. We're just gonna get what we can get through easily, and we'll just leave this gate open. And then, like I said, we're checking them 3 times a day anyway, so we'll come back here in a couple hours and get whatever's left over, because there's definitely gonna be some brand new lambs in here, no doubt. So come along with us while we get these moved. Hey, I'm coming with you.
All right, here we are, open to the gate. These rams are waiting at the gate so they can walk on through. They don't have babies, obviously. So there's Molly. That's that dog that I told you. We had another one we had brought from home. She's over here. She's definitely a ringleader, so she made her way through first. Rams are definitely gaining condition back after a lot of work breeding all these ewes. They're definitely gaining a lot of weight back, so that's good. Alright, I just started calling, and look at this mama here with her twins. She's gonna make sure she's got both babies before she walks through. It's just what we want to see. Hey, sheep, sheep, sheep. What on earth happened to you, dog? Must have been rolling in the mud. There's mama and 2 babies. Okay, we got them awake now. Here they come. Let's watch them pour through. I'm probably gonna have to move here. I'm too much at the gate for these babies. It's definitely gonna be a slow trickle today. A little triplet set here. Look at this newborn lamb over here, little baby one, trying to get to the mineral already. It's too funny. It's amazing how young they catch on to all that. All right, so as you can see, they're pouring through this permanent gate here, permanent electric fence gate. So this is what we call a permanent paddock. So we did not put up any reels to move them into this paddock today. It's small enough to where we didn't have to divide it at all. This paddock that they're going into is a paddock that we would probably never divide. It's so small for the amount of sheep that we have. So if we wanted to divide it, it would be easy to do because we have electric here and then electric just before those trees over there. So we could divide it, you know, in half if we wanted to, but like I said, it's so small, I don't foresee us ever doing that unless we would be running, you know, a flock of 100 or 200. But a flock this big, there's no way we'd ever divide this one. This is just what we like to see when we're moving them, is just this slow, continuous trickle, not just everybody rushing through at one time. Another dog made his way through. I kind of parked the side-by-side right here today just so that none of those lambs jumped through this 2-strand of electric. Sometimes if mom's running through the gate, the babies will kind of jump through the electric if they don't know any better. So I parked the side-by-side there today just to kind of give them a bigger visual barrier. That's normally not something we would have to do, but we do that whenever we have little lambs, just so they don't run through that electric fence and tear it off. Got a lot coming yet. If there's a part of our rotational grazing with sheep and lambs that we haven't covered yet that you're interested in knowing more about, leave a comment down below. We'll cover just about anything people want us to if it's something we do. So like I said, if there's something we haven't touched on this spring yet and there's something you want to know about, just leave us a comment down below and we'd be happy to talk about it. I know we had kind of gotten a comment a couple videos ago. Someone was kind of asking us how we choose our hair sheep, how we chose these sheep particularly for this rental farm, and we have a video about a month ago on it, but just to kind of talk about it again, this is the time of year that we did like pasture walks last year in the springtime. We went out to different farms and looked at their operations and just kind of decided what would be the best fit for us. So we like the hair sheep breed, obviously, and some of our key points that our sheep have to have are good feet and no worms. It's basically, to sum it up in a nutshell. There's other things we do look for as far as fertility and things like that, but as long as they are mostly parasite resistant and have good feet, that's the main things we look for. Got a steady stream coming yet. Oh.
Alright, I'm at the back of the pack here, trying to just get all these ewes and lambs up. I'm not really trying to even push them, I'm just trying to get them up and aware that we are moving them. Max is helping today, so he's kind of just driving. He's just driving about 15 feet away from wherever the sheep are, just back and forth. And he's not aggressively pushing them. We're just getting them up and walking. Otherwise they might lay there all day. So you can tell they still have a lot of grass out here. But we don't want to, I don't want them eating it down to the dirt. So this is they've been in here for 3 days. This is the paddock that we joined everybody up in, both groups, 700 and the older ewes. So we left them in here for that 3rd day, and like I said, they have plenty of grass, so they're not really that interested in moving, which is good, because then usually they don't run, you know, straight for the gate as fast as they can. Max is pushing that one, and probably could leave it behind. She looks pretty fresh. We got twins on her. I know that I didn't see those yesterday, so I'll just tell him to go around that one. There, she has twins on her. She shows a little bit of afterbirth. So I know it's a fresh set. We're not trying to force them out the gate, we're just trying to get them up. Get them up, get them all paired up, and then they can kind of gradually make their way towards the gate. So like this one here, she might have laid here for another couple hours, I don't know. She was perfectly content, everybody else had already walked off. So, just gonna get them up so they get on the move a little bit. If it's a newborn though, I'm not messing with it. Just I'll leave them away. So, sometimes it's really, honestly, it's really hard to tell if it's a newborn unless you can see their navel. The navel's still wet. They're very fresh. And it dries up within like a day or two, so. Because they're all pretty small right now. I think we got a little bit of a nursery going on over here. So I'm gonna leave that one. That little group sit. Looks like a lot of little bitty ones. So we're moving them, but we're not pressuring them. We're not pushing them hard. So trying to keep all the ewes and the lambs together. Letting them go along at their own pace. That's the idea. Sometimes it's hard to. Max has a hard time letting them sit. Yeah, you just leave them sit, bud. Leave them sit. Yeah, the new one. All right. Leave those sit in the woods. That's probably like their little nursery down there. We're just getting them up. We're not pushing them. He is good help. It's a little over enthusiastic sometimes. But good help. So here we got about, at the back of the pack, you're always going to have 5 or 10 lambs that kind of fall behind. I don't really worry about it, especially if they're bigger. As long as there's a few ewes with them and we can get them up there, the lambs will come back. But the ewes will come back and get them. So we're just going to go around this ewe right here. We're also leaving that gate open, so the ewes can come back and forth and get them anytime they want today. And we'll just keep checking on them. It is kind of a process moving them. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but like I said in the previous video, we really don't have a big enough. We don't have a big enough paddock to put them in just to leave them sit either. So for a month, or that'd actually be about 2 months if we wanted to lamb them all out in one place. So until we figure out something better, this is what we're going to do. And these lambs really do figure it out within a couple days. They know to stick with their mom within the first day. This paddock in particular doesn't worry me because all there is a 2-strand electric fence in between this one and the next one that they're moving to. So all these lambs could easily get through that fence if they needed to. And the ewes know where the gate's at, so they'll just come back in. All these ones down the sewer, there's a brand. That ewe there just had this little lamb just spinning around kind of. They do that a lot of times, but the bigger lamb's not hers, but the one, probably can't see her. She's got a little bitty lamb right next to her. Trying to figure out how to nurse. And a lot of times in younger ewes, they'll kind of spin around a little bit. And I think the worst thing you can do is try to go over there and help her. They will figure it out. If I walked over there and tried to help that little lamb, the ewe would walk off. So, and she may or may not come back in her first form. So we just let them sit and figure it out. I don't know if you can see that lamb. His tail's a twitch or wiggling his tail. That's kind of a sure sign that they're getting milk. If they're sitting there and they're not swishing their tail back and forth, and it looks like they're sucking, they're probably not getting anything. But if their tail's switching back and forth, at least with bottle ends, as soon as they start to actually latch on, like the bottle, their tail starts to switch back and forth. So I'm pretty certain once you see that, they're definitely locked on to the ewe. So.
See, you'll see a little bit of this mama here. Thinks she left her baby in here, and there's a good chance she did, but she'll go back and find it. This little black lamb here has kind of been wandering for a little bit. He might have lost track of his too for a minute, but he's a good sized lamb. He's got a mom out there, and she'll find him back. It's not one that's going to be, you know, abandoned or left. She'll find him back, or he'll find her. Boy, it seems like we got a lot of sheep again. You can tell towards the end of the, I'll let these go through and kind of show you that. You can tell though at the end of the pack here, it's a lot of newbies, a lot of new ones that are towards the end usually, but all right, well, you guys are probably about tired of watching sheep walk through this electric fence gap. So I'm gonna bring you up here on top of this hill and kind of show you how they fanned out and went back to grazing. This little set here. All right, well, everything went back to grazing out here. They're all fanned out along this hill. Now we did turn off our tire tanks. Whenever we have newborn lambs in the pasture, the tire tanks get turned off. So we've lost too many lambs from falling in tire tanks. So I'm sure that there are ways you can make it work to where the lambs can't fall in there. We've tried putting plywood over the top and only leaving a small hole. We've tried putting a mesh over the top and leaving holes for the sheep to drink out of, but what it boiled down to was everywhere where there's a tire tank, we just put quick couplers on the water lines and we just move with our little portable tank. It's just easier. Don't have to worry about anything drowning in those. They can't get in them. So tire tanks only get used if the sheep are like bred and there's no little lambs out here those times of the year. So not very often, really. Sometimes it's not even worth turning them back on. They worked great for cattle, but we don't really use them for sheep. If somebody's got a good idea for a tire tank and you've had success with it, let us know down in the comments. But we leave ours turned off. I hear Jake and Max coming up the hill over here, so I'll walk back over and see if we're finally to the end or not. Yep, there they are. See the boys over here. So they've left anything behind that was new, and they're kind of pushing these older ones up to get them through so they can all team back up together, but if they don't, the gate will be open for later.
Okay, so we got most of these sheep moved. We left the ones still in the older paddock that had the lambs that were just born this morning or last night. So we're just leaving the gate open, and they'll kind of make their way throughout the day. And while we're out here, we kind of thought we'd go over what our plans were for kind of the rest of this summer. So how we bred these ewes, we turned them in right around December 1st. The rams, turned those in to the ewes, and then we left them in for 6 weeks, and then we actually pulled the rams for 40 days in between there. So they were getting bred for 6 weeks, and that's where all these lambs here are actually coming from, is that first round of breeding back in December, January. And then, like I said, we pulled them out for 40 days because we don't want these ewes to be having lambs. We really don't want them born in July, so late June through July. So we pulled them out for that 40 days and then turned the rams actually back into this group again because we had so many young ones that we didn't think near all of them were going to breed that first round. Now, after looking at all the lambs we have, they got more bred than what I thought they originally would. So, but anyway, we turned them in that second time. After 40 days off, they were off for 40 days and we turned them back in. So those should start lambing basically the beginning of August. So kind of, it's still going to be hot, but it's out of July at least, and hopefully, you know, that'll help them. The lamb that won't be super hot, kind of like a fall lambing crop, basically, to catch anything that didn't get bred the first time. So this first group, the ones that are being born now, we're going to, in June, we'll gather this whole group up one more time, and we're going to look for anything that doesn't have a bag. So anything that's dry on the ewes. Anything that's dry has the potential of lambing in August then. So we just joined this group up, but sometime in June we're going to go through them all, take off all the dry ewes, the ones that don't have lambs on them by then, because they'll be done, everything will be done lambing at that point for this first round. And we'll pull those dry ewes, make a second group again, and then we'll have our fall lambers separated then from these spring lambers. We don't want to mix really the big lambs with the little lambs if we don't have to. So we will have two groups again in June. We have a distinct break between the spring lambing and the fall lambing season. So we will be back to two groups eventually, but especially this time of year when the grass is just going crazy, it's nice to have one big group because they can really mow off a patch. I mean, we can keep them moving, keep them out of parasites easier, give them a longer rest periods, or as far as the grass, give it longer rest periods with one group. So that's why we merged them up, but it's only going to be temporary, probably for 2 months here, and then we'll be back to having two groups for a little while. And eventually, this year is going to be a little bit different than, you know, a lot of our years. Eventually, I would like to just have one flock all the way around, and we'll just have one lambing season, which will just be in the spring because we won't have so many ewe lambs breed. This is going to be the most we probably will ever have. We had 700 of them to breed this year, so that's the reason we're just trying to get as many of them bred as we possibly could. Out of the group that lambed this winter, we had about 80 ewe lambs and 80 ram lambs. It was almost exactly even. So we sold those ram lambs this past weekend, and the ewe lambs we turned back out with their moms. Well, in June, when we sort off all the dry ewes, we're also going to pull all of those ewes. So if they're not weaned yet, they should be. We're going to wean those, put them in with the dry ewes, and then they will all be run, that group will be run together. So treat them separately, or treat them differently basically than the ones with the lambs on them. And thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing that. That would really help us out, and we'll have another video out this weekend. Thank you.